14th press conference of 70,000 tons of metal. So just when we start, do we have any new people here who have never been on this cruise? No, just two? Okay, so you're gonna learn something. So we'll try to make it short. We have the staff captain to have a few words to you, and then Andy will continue and explain you everything, what's going on. So,
Hello everybody, good afternoon.
Hello.
I'm the staff captain on board. I just need to open my notes because I'm very good at public speaking. Yeah? We are here from shipside trying to organize a massive event, totally opposite from our routine and our processes of work. I hope that we made a good deal and you guys are enjoying it. We still have tonight to enjoy and tomorrow on our side to pack it up and restore the ship to normal business. It was intense, it was interesting, it was not easy, but they have what 12, 13, 14 years of history and planning that made this monster of a stage and monster of events happen. I'm more than happy to answer a few questions if anybody has questions. Otherwise, we have a very interesting group of people that are enjoying life here.
so any questions?
How the crew received the event?
It's surprising how many people are enjoying the music. Yeah,
Okay.
in their uniform, it's very difficult to know what preferences people have. But walking around the ship, it's surprising to see how many are physically and
So-
mentally enjoying it.
So different than
People are enjoying it. It's different than
Exactly.
than the normal cruise, and also crew has a little bit more access to music and freedom of enjoying, because also the crowd is not so formal, or expectations are not so formal.
perfect. Perfect.
Any more questions? Here we go.
I watched some of your staff schedule they try and schedule their shifts around bands. They want to see like work bar near something that they want to see. What's the crew mentality?
I received no complaints. Let's put it like this. Yeah, we did plan this in a way that we try to rotate the crew to maintain the balance of work and rest, rotate them along the stations that everybody can enjoy the hotspot by the pool deck, for example. Yeah. So if there was a request of can I please have this one, the team tried to make it happen. Otherwise, all crew was encouraged to participate in the events in their off time. And there were a lot of events in the off time of the crew. I believe you guys switch off the music what late morning. Something else?
Anything else? So that was painless.
Ah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I hope the restorage is not too heavy. So I'm passing on to Andy.
So thank you very much, first of all, Kathleen, Kat, for coming and doing this. I think I have been his living nightmare. I had to wake him up several times over the sailing. He had to wake me up once or twice as well. So I think we're even. We're good partners here. And first of all, I mean, you Kat, please give the whole bridge gang and everybody in your crew really my gratitude and big thank you. It was a great cooperation. It has been now 5 years that we have been not on the independence of the seas. And I know crews rotate or so, but it was a real pleasure to come back on this beautiful vessel. Thank you very much, Kat. So, for the ones that are new here for the first time, tomorrow you're gonna be officially survivors. And that's great because there is something when I got the statistics before, um, it almost blew my mind. We always jokingly referred to 70,000 tons of metal as the United Nations of heavy metal at sea because for many years now we had over 70 different nations on board. It always varied a little bit. Sometimes it was 71, sometimes it was 73, 72. I believe I'm getting old and I start forgetting things. But I believe the record was 74, as far as I know, right? So Wolfgang, he has a better memory than I do. Okay, hold yourselves. We have 80,
Wow.
80 nations on board. Wow.
Amazing.
And this is the one thing that always made me most proud about 70,000 tons of metal, bringing all these people from all these different backgrounds, from all these different nations, from all these different races, colors, beliefs together, from countries that are at war with each other. And everyone comes here for the love of the music. And we have one big party at sea, friendly as a family. And that is what makes me most proud. I have goosebumps right now. 18 nations on board, 70,000 tons of metal. Yeah, it was uniquely challenging this year, especially for me. Certain things sometimes happen in life, and you get sidetracked. Then things are going late with. I really try to improve, and I'm working on it. We started much earlier last year, prepping this one, and then yeah, sometimes things go sideways. In the end, we still got it together. Um, our beautiful monster of the stage, as Kat put it, the biggest open air stage structure that ever sailed the open seas. I think I don't have to tell you the quite challenging winds we had on the first days. We still have these easterly winds, and of course, first sailing outbound all along the coast of Cuba, we had the wind head on. Reason why there was no way making it safe, bringing up the stage safely, putting banners in on the side. Now, when we were docked in Ocherios, we dressed this lady up out there, and yeah, so she shows in her full beauty. Naturally, when we sailed out of Ocherios last night, we were again against the wind, and it was quite heavy. My apologies to to Martin from the lane. His keyboard actually got blown off the keyboard riser. Thank God nothing happened, and we stuck him behind the side fields, so he's kind of protected. It was a great show, nevertheless. I have a long history with him. So he was happy, everybody's happy. We had great shows. Some little delays sometimes, but also there we're getting much better than in the past. Live and learn, lessons learned. We have all our lessons learned files. So that's great. Before I take some of your questions, I give you some information. Of course, there will be a 70,000 tons of metal next year as well. And we will be sailing on January 29th to February 2nd, again out of the cruise capital of the world, Miami, Florida. And we will be going back to beautiful Labadee on Haiti. So that will be 70,000 tons of metal 2026. Now, the whole next year, my team and I will be talking, oh, yeah, last year, and we're always making this mistake because up and until the end of December, it's actually the last cruise, but it's this year. So, from the day after tomorrow, it'll be after the ship is before the ship. I will try to do my best together with my fantastic crew that I'm really proud of to make the next one even better. We'll be starting early again, having things earlier completed. And I think this is the number one complaint and the number one request, and we'll try to fulfill it as much as possible. So, do you have any questions for me?
I began. Andy, first of all, we are so sorry about your loss. First of all, okay. But when we'll get uh, 270,000 tons of metal by year.
You know, I believe what makes this event so unique
Yes.
is that we have all our family once a year together on one ship. And you see, I mean, actually, what I forgot to mention, if you really want to have the statistics of all the countries, the top 10 changed a little bit, but I don't need to read it all down to you. We have a stack with all the statistics from the passengers with the top 10, with the female attendants, the male attendants, and some other numbers for you to pick up after the press conference. Now, coming back to your question,
Okay.
um, I would rip our family apart if I would be doing two a year. Because I know from a lot of people it's very challenging to actually come up with the funds. People come from 80 different countries. Not everybody has the money to do this every year, so some people actually do not come every year. If I would be doing two, some people would choose the one or the other.
Yeah.
And in the end, I mean, you can never please everyone. Like it would be my fault again, and it's always my fault. So there, a lot of people would feel like, oh, I'm on the wrong ship. I want to be on the other one.
And the other one.
So this is why there are some plans in the future. Like we'll be probably not always on this ship, but and next year, I forgot just to mention before, we will be going back to the Freedom of the Seas, which is a sister
Okay.
ship.
Yes.
Most of the time when you're inside the layout and everything is very, very similar. On the pool deck, you probably see slight differences. You don't have these grandstands. It's built slightly different. The capacity is the same. Most of the interior is the same. Most of the decoration is the same,
Same.
So it's a sister ship. But yes, no splitting the family apart. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
And because we'll see what the future brings. But maybe some of you know. Some always ask me. Many years ago, I did another cruise called the Barge to Hell. Um, Maybe there will be another one day in the future. Maybe a barge, maybe something else. But 70,000 tons of metal is and will be one yearly event, one ship. And this is where the United Nations of Heavy Metal comes together once a year.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
A short question about the late bookings. I'm not talking about the announcements because it's normal that you don't announce everything. But is it correct that some bands just got booked like 1 or 2 weeks before the ship departed? Because that's the rumors, which also was told on stage from some bands. So is that true that some bookings were made lately, and was that related to the problems you just talked about you had in the planning?
That is correct. If I had a personal incident, I mean, I don't need to pour out my private life here. Some things got left really late because I was simply out, and I will make some adjustments within my team. I already started to delegate a lot of things, but if ever anything will happen again, so even that part somebody can take over. Um, many of the bands that were announced late, they were booked way before, but you are correct, some were booked last minute. Also, we actually, and this was a lucky coincidence, in that context. Last year we had several bands that got cancelled, also very very late because they had immigration problems. That thank goodness we could avoid this year. Luckily, because there were actually two artists that were not announced yet that got visas denied. And I can't tell you who it is, but so at least we could avoid that hiccup. Yeah, lucky in an unlucky situation. But once again, it was not ideal. It's not an apology, it's more an explanation why things got left so late. And I'm working on creating a redundancy. There is somebody in this room that will take over some of my duties. So even if I'm completely out, it can just go ahead as planned.
Looks like everybody.
Here we go.
You know, you talk about 80 countries, with this being the most that's ever been, and I think now more than ever in the world, we need community, we need metal, and we need this to grow. Not a political question, but the state of the world makes immigration potentially harder in the next couple of years. What do you think next year might be like? What's your outlook?
It is and it remains and it always will be challenging. Not really going into politics here right now. Some things get better, some things get harder. Certain things, the state of the world is worrying. You know, we have more conflicts again. We have wars. Um, People try to put up walls again that were broken down, and this is sad. It's certainly going to be challenging. Um, I believe, however, that we need to come together. We must come together. As I always say, all the big problems in the world we can only solve as a humanity as a whole. Um, this goes on to things like climate change. I mean, I have this question often, you know, and like last but not least, I motivate thousands of people to travel around the whole globe. And okay, we don't need to discuss now, oh, is it human made or whatever, you know, so, because then we go into politics again. But it's just a fact that it actually changes. And those problems, they don't end at borders. For me personally, borders, they only exist on maps and in people's minds. You know, we are all living on this planet, on this one planet, and these problems, they don't just end at borders. That's why we need to come together to learn from each other as a humanity as a whole, and therefore we need to travel and we need to meet to come and try to find solutions together. And it will be challenging. It always was. It always will. If it will be harder, the future will tell. I'm not a I'm not a foreteller, you know. But let's remain positive. You know, I mean, even and everyone has been going or will be going through what I've been going through the last few months. And but as you always say, the show must go on.
That was great final words.
So, I mean, this is not an auction, but last one. 1, 2, 3. Sold.
Sold.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. By the way, I mean, it's also the help of you guys, press from all around the world that actually spreads the world of 70,000 tons of metal, the original, the world's biggest heavy metal cruise, and making this possible and bringing all these nations together. So my big thank you to all of you. Thank you so much.